What's the wildest reason someone ever called the police on you? I was 19 when my neighbor called 911 because she thought I was running an underground fight club in my garage. The truth was far more ridiculous. My dad lost his job at the steel mill, and our family was drowning in medical bills from my mom's cancer treatments. Insurance covered the basics, but not the experimental immunotherapy that might save her life. We needed $15,000 in 3 months, or she'd have to stop treatment. I'd been working double shifts at a hardware store for $8.50 an hour, but the math wasn't adding up. That's when my coworker Brixton mentioned competitive arm wrestling. There's this underground scene downtown. Winner takes $500 a night. Watching my mom throw up from chemo while dad stared at bills we couldn't pay, I decided to try it. I won $500 my first night at a warehouse downtown. Within a month, I was unbeatable. The college kid who could take down construction workers twice his size. But the warehouse got shut down, so I convinced my dad to let me use our garage. It's just some friends coming over to work out, I told him. Every Tuesday and Friday, 15 to 20 guys would show up. I'd set up a card table, collect $20 entry fees, and we'd go at it. The neighbors heard shouting, "Come on, Rodriguez! You got this!" But nobody complained. Until Delilah moved in next door. She was about 70, lived alone with 3 cats, and appointed herself neighborhood watch captain. She started keeping a surveillance log, noting every license plate, every person who walked to our garage. She'd peer through blinds with opera glasses, writing descriptions like, "Tall man with beard, suspicious bulge in jacket." It was Concrete Carlos's inhaler. The situation escalated when Heavy Eddie showed up. Eddie was 6'4", 280 pounds of muscle, covered in tattoos, and rode a Harley that announced his arrival 3 blocks away. He also happened to be a kindergarten teacher who arm wrestled to pay for his daughter's ballet lessons. But Delilah didn't know that. She watched Eddie crack his knuckles and stomp into our garage in steel-toed boots. 20 minutes later, she heard him roar with laughter at someone's joke. To her, it probably sounded like murderous rage. That's when she called 911. "There's a gang meeting at 1247 Maple Street," she told the dispatcher. "They're planning something violent. I heard threats, and there are weapons." The weapons were metal folding chairs we sat on. The threats were trash talk like, "I'm gonna destroy you, Mikey." 6 police cars surrounded our house mid-tournament. I was locked in an intense match with Concrete Carlos when flashlights blazed through the garage windows. "Police! Everyone on the ground!" The guys panicked. Some tried to bolt out the back. Others dropped to their knees immediately. Poor Eddie, still wearing his kindergarten polo shirt with a cartoon apple, started crying because he thought he'd lose his job. I walked outside with hands up. "Officer, there's been a serious misunderstanding," I said. The lead officer looked confused as he surveyed the scene. Instead of a gang meeting, he found 20 men in work boots around a card table, looking more scared than dangerous. "What exactly is going on here?" I explained everything. My mom's cancer, the medical bills, the tournaments that were our only hope. I showed him my notebook tracking entry fees and prize money. No drugs, no weapons, just desperate people making honest money. The officer actually laughed. "So this lady called in a gang threat because you're arm wrestling?" "Pretty much." They talked to Delilah, who insisted she'd witnessed clearly suspicious criminal behavior. When they explained what was happening, she doubled down. "Well, it's still illegal gambling," she declared. She wasn't wrong. Our tournaments violated local gambling ordinances. But the officers looked at my mom, who had come outside in her bathrobe and chemo headscarf, and made a judgment call. "Keep the noise down and find a different location soon." As they left, Eddie approached me. "I know a gym with a back room. The owner's my cousin. We can move the tournaments there." We did. Within 6 months, our underground arm wrestling league raised enough for my mom's full treatment. She's been cancer-free for 3 years now. Delilah still glares at me when I check the mail, but she's never called the police again. Every Christmas, I leave a card on her doorstep thanking her for that night, because sometimes the wildest misunderstandings lead to the best solutions.